This week during our wild encounters, I want to talk about one of the cutest little animals on the planet. It's a primate, and it is the smallest primate on the planet. They're about yay big. They've got big googly eyes and fancy little ears. It is the Tarsier. We are very fortunate to have had many encounters with these cute creatures as they live in Indonesia and the Philippines. They were once widespread throughout Southeast Asia, but now they're really found in a few hot pockets. And the two species that we tend to see is the Philippine Tarzia, which is in a semi-wild environment, so it's kind of caged but in a wild setting, and you can see them in there. And the other place where we see them, which is probably my favorite place because it truly is in the wild, is in northern Sulawesi. There's a national park called Tangoko National Park. It's a wild, rugged park. It's kind of coastal, volcano, big volcano in the background. It's got that scrubby, bushy forest all the way into rainforest. You can see hornbills flying over. Another cool thing to see in Tangoko are the Crested Macaques. Now these little dudes are macaques, black macaques, and they have this funky punk-looking hairdo, and they are all in these big troops, and they roam through the forest. And so every time we've gone so far, we've seen them. And of course, the highlight for me is the Tarsiers. My first ever experience was in Tangoko National Park, and I remember walking right around sunset because they are nocturnal. So their early morning is as soon as the sun goes down. And so we're walking through this forest and we come up to this huge fig tree, a banyan tree. And we're just sitting there waiting. And the next thing you know, just with the last little bit of light, you see these tiny little creatures with big googly eyes in their ears come out of their nesting site, their little holes. And families of, anywhere between 5 to 10 individuals. And they all come out, they're all rubbing their little eyes. And what the guide was doing at the time, because they're insectivores, they mainly feed on insects. They also feed on other animals. They're carnivorous, but they do love insects. So we would collect grasshoppers throughout the day. And I'm like, why are we collecting grasshoppers? And he's like, Thomas, just wait, I'll show you. I'm like, okay. He would tie a little rope, don't ask me how, around the back of the grasshopper, and he would put it on a little bit of a branch right where the tarsiers come out. He would then wait, and they come out, and as they're waking up, they're yawning, they're rubbing their little eyes, and the next thing, those eyes and ears just hone in on these grasshoppers, and they leap. Now, these little guys, they're only yay small. Their hind legs are long and very muscular because they can leap from tree to tree. And so these little guys then are focused on this grasshopper, jump across, and they eat it like a cob of corn, and just eat it all, spit it out, and the little rope goes with it. First experience seeing these little guys, and what a cute little way to see them. And then they really start honing in and listening to the sounds of the forest, and they leap from tree to tree. They disappear into the forest. They're very territorial. They have that home tree where they reconvene again in the morning. So early morning, just before the sun comes up, they all come back. But at nighttime, they head out into the forest. They disperse out into the forest. They feed on all these kind of insects and sometimes little snakes, little birds, but mainly like cockroaches and bugs and beetles, that kind of stuff. And then they come back. Now they can turn their head like an owl 180 degrees that way and 180. I mean, they can literally almost do a 360 with their heads. And it's just the cutest look, seeing those cute faces with these huge eyes, obviously because they're active at nighttime. Next year, we have 2 amazing opportunities to go see these cute guys. We are doing a Philippines expeditions next May, where we're going to hop from island to island, doing amazing snorkeling, diving, island exploration. And one of the islands we're going to is in the Visayas, is called Bohol. Now, Bohol is famous for the chocolate hills. They're these like chocolate-covered kind of hills, weird geological formations. And the other thing is the Philippine Tarzia. They have beautiful site where you can get into this big enclosure and you can photograph them as if they're in the wild. They sit on these little tree branches and they're just all curled up. We usually get in there during the day, so you can see them just checking you out with one eye, rubbing their little eyes, and they are super cute and cuddly right close in front of you. And the other opportunity is later in the year, we're going back to Indonesia, doing an amazing expedition all over Indonesia, diving, snorkeling, chartering yachts, beautiful resorts, and we're going to go to Tangoko National Park in between little islands and muck diving.